Module 3. Product Creation. Once you've done your research, created an outline, and are close to being 100% positive that your market will be receptive to your product, it's time to actually create it. This is the fun part. There are many different ways to present an info product to your market. Several years ago, info products usually consisted of just an ebook, but these days, innovative marketers have been using many different techniques to present their products. Once again, I should remind you that you don't have to choose just one method. In fact, the more ways you give your product to your market, the better. Some people learn better by reading, while others learn better by videos. Some people even prefer an audio series that they can listen to your product on the way to work or at the gym. In the end, it's up to you how to present your product, but I would encourage you to experiment and find out what methods you're good at producing and what methods your target market prefers. The best method is the one that ultimately makes you the most money. Number 1. Ebooks. Ebooks are by far the most common way of presenting an info product, and one that most people are probably familiar with. Ebooks have a lot of benefits due to their versatility, but do have one major disadvantage. They have a lower perceived value than any other product type. The best thing about creating an ebook is the fact that there is so much you can do with it besides just selling it as is. Here are just a few examples on how you can make the most out of an ebook. Break up the chapters and submit them to article directories. Give away a chapter to get people to opt into a list. Create a membership site and give away parts of your book at regular intervals. Create an audio series by reading each chapter. Use the ebook later as a bonus offer for another product. Sell the book as PLR once it's outlived its usefulness. This is just the tip of the iceberg. There are lots you can do with an ebook. Get creative, and you'll find that an ebook is probably the most valuable info product asset you can own. As mentioned before, the downside to ebooks is the fact that they have a low perceived value in the eyes of many. This is due to the fact that ebooks are extremely common online. People see advertisements for info product ebooks almost every day. There are several ways to compensate for this, though. First of all, never call your ebook an ebook when selling it. Call it a report, a guide, a system, or something else that makes it sound special. Secondly, you should consider boosting your ebook's value by packaging another version of your product with the ebook version. For example, you could take your ebook and turn it into a video series to drastically increase its perceived value in the eyes of your market. So now the question is, how do you write an ebook? It's as simple as just opening a word processing program like Microsoft Word and typing it out, right? Not quite. Writing an ebook takes a lot of know-how. It isn't something you just sit down and do for most people. There are freelancers out there that are charging hundreds of dollars just to write ebooks, and for good reason. Ebook writing is an acquired skill. If you've never written an ebook before, don't despair. You don't necessarily have to hire someone to write your book for you, though that is always an option. As long as you have the right mindset and know a few basic principles, you can create an ebook that people will buy. Rule number 1, mindset. Just like I said, writing an ebook takes a certain mindset. You have to write from a position of authority and come across as a leader in your niche. You can't just write using wishy-washy language and take a passive stance on things. For example, if your book is going to be about how to make money online, don't write sentences like, "By following my methods, you should be able to make $100 a day." Instead, say it with authority. "By following my methods, you will make $100 a day." Some of you may be worried about the fact that this example, you could get sued by someone who fails at making $100 a day. This is what disclaimers are for. Rule number 2, disclaimers. Disclaimers exist for two main reasons: to prevent the theft of your work by reminding the reader that it's copyrighted, and to prevent you from getting sued. When you write your disclaimer, don't just write whatever comes to mind. Do a little research and see what other ebook authors are using. You can even look up disclaimer templates on Google if you feel the need to. If you use a template, make sure you edit it to make sure it's applicable to your book. No template or example is going to fit your product 100%. If you're really worried about these things, you can go so far as having a lawyer write a disclaimer for you. Their rates will vary for this service, but you can usually find one that you're looking for by doing a few online searches. Rule number 3, tone. When you write your ebook, you're going to want to write it in a way that connects with your market. In most cases, this can be easily accomplished by simply writing as you're having a conversation with someone sitting across from you. Another thing to keep in mind is that you want to speak the language of your market. For example, if you're selling an ebook to golfers on how to stop slicing the ball, make sure you're using the slang and terminology they typically use. This builds credibility and helps to further establish you as an authority in your niche. Rule number 4, formatting. When it comes to writing anything online, whether it's an ebook, a blog post, or sales letter, there are several things to keep in mind. First and foremost, it's the huge blocks of text that are intimidating. If your ebook consists of massive blocks of text that aren't broken up, no one will read it, no matter how good the content is. You will also lose major credibility for releasing a terrible product. Break up your content into small, easy-to-read paragraphs that are about 2 to 4 sentences long. Also, make liberal use of the bolded subheadings to help further back up the text and make it appear more readable. Standard font size for an ebook is 14 because it's a lot easier to read than 12, which is the default for many word processors. Keep in mind that you're going to want to use a sans serif font, such as Arial, because it looks better on monitors than serif fonts, such as Times New Roman. That's because sans serif fonts like the little flourishes that serif fonts have. There are other formatting options you can use as well, such as headers, footers, clickable tables of contents, colored chapter titles and subheadings, page borders, and much more. Go with what you think looks more attractive, but don't overdo it. Sometimes the simpler approach is the better approach. Rule number 5, the flow. When writing your outline for your product, you're going to want to ensure that it flows properly and just isn't a disjointed mess. Each chapter and subsection should flow smoothly into the next. This is especially true if you're going to write a step-by-step guide. Also, if your book is particularly long, you can insert recaps of certain points. For example, if you're writing a book on website flipping and want to remind the reader of the steps they should have taken to get to a certain point, just use a quick bullet point list to recap what you've covered so far, so that they're not lost when entering a section that relies upon previous chapters to understand. Rule number 6, editing. Don't write and edit at the same time. When you're writing your ebook, avoid the temptation to hit the back button and to correct your mistakes as you go. Just ignore mistakes and keep writing. Writing and editing require 2 different thought processes. Don't disrupt your concentration on writing by trying to edit as you go along. This will only slow you down and disrupt your train of thought. Remember, you can always go back and change things later. Rule number 7, proofreading. I'm not going to lie, proofreading is time-consuming and boring, especially for a long book. I would suggest doing it at least twice though, once the final draft is complete. Once from front to back, and then again from back to front. By proofreading from back to front, you're able to catch more mistakes because it disrupts the flow of the book and allows errors to be singled out more easily. In contrast to this, when reading from start to finish, you oftentimes miss errors because you already know what the text is going to say and you're reading it more with your mind and not with your eyes. If you're really uncomfortable in your proofreading skills, or if English isn't your first language, you can always hire a professional proofreading service. Just make sure that there is room in your budget for this, and that they can get it done in a timely manner. Rule number 8, enough is enough. Your ebook isn't going to be perfect, especially if it's your first. Don't worry about it. When it comes to creating any product, you have to remember that taking action and getting it into the market is much more important than trying to make it perfect. No one is going to care if there are a few minor errors in your ebook, as long as the content is useful, accurate, and serves its purpose. I have personally seen errors in ebooks launched by big-name marketers, and they're still making a killing. Quality of information trumps quality of text. Also remember, while it may be tempting to keep going back once the book is completed and adding every new trick and technique you come across, enough is enough. There is no need to keep updating your book. Just get it done and release it to your market. The thing is, you can always release an updated version of your product later on if you want. There's no need to keep adding more and more to it before it is released. Just make sure it contains the essential information, cover graphics, and pictures. To make your ebook look nice, it's going to definitely need a good cover graphic. You can do this for yourself if you have Photoshop, or a similar program, or you can use a free tool at myecovermaker.com. If you're really struggling to make an attractive cover graphic, you can always hire a professional to do it for you. Prices generally range between $17 and $27 on the lower end of the spectrum, but there are talented individuals at Fiverr who do it for only $5. Pictures are something else you may want to consider adding to your ebook. This is especially important if you're going to be showing how to do something in a step-by-step guide, or if you want to show screen caps of your income proof to get readers fired up. To take screen caps, I would recommend Jing. It's a free tool that allows you to take screen caps and add arrows, boxes, and text to them to point out important parts. Videos. The major advantage that videos have over ebooks is that they have a greater perceived value. People will be much more likely to buy a video series at a higher price than they would an ebook. The good news is that if you already have an ebook, creating a video series based off of it is extremely simple. You can create a mind map, then just read each chapter and subsection as you go through the map, while recording it with a video capture program. This technique is incredibly popular right now with many internet marketers who make their own products. 2 types of videos. Video creation may seem daunting at first, but trust me, it's extremely simple. There are 2 basic ways to create a video series: doing voiceover or actually filming something. For example, if you're making a dog training video product, you're going to have to actually film yourself training a dog. Get a reliable camcorder and someone with a steady hand to film you for each lesson. On the other hand, if you're making a video series about how to flip websites, you can make tutorial videos that walk your viewers through the process. These will be done using VoiceOver with a video recording program. While you can use Jing to do this, I would recommend getting Camtasia since it has more editing options and the video is much smoother. You can get a 30-day trial of Camtasia for free, but after that it's $300. Don't be a perfectionist. When making videos, the number 1 rule is not to be a perfectionist. It can be nerve-wracking at first, speaking into a microphone, or getting in front of a camera. And it can also be tempting to stop a video and start over if you flub your lines or make a mistake. Don't do it. Unless you're a professional voiceover artist or actor, don't expect your videos to be perfect. It just isn't going to happen. You have to make a deal with yourself that you will not start over once you start recording, or you will never get through a video. Any mistakes or errors can be edited out later, and if the video is completely messed up, you can always redo it. Just remember that if you flub your lines, or if you make an error, nobody cares as long as you're delivering useful, accurate content. Much like with ebooks, the quality of your information trumps the actual delivery of the product. Hiring professionals. If you've got the money to spare, or if you know that your product is going to sell like hotcakes, you can go the extra mile and hire voiceover artists and local actors for your videos. This can be costly, but can be well worth it if you just can't do the videos yourself. Do keep in mind that if you're shooting live video, this may not always be an option. If you're creating a product on how to get better at archery, and you're the archery expert, you're probably going to have to be the one actually firing the bow, not an actor. Also, hiring professionals can be a bad move if you're looking to build up your authority in your niche. You want your customers to become accustomed to your voice, or to seeing you on camera. You want that to build the sense of familiarity, because the more people bond with you, the more they're going to buy from you. DVDs. Video products are most commonly offered as download only, but if you want to go that extra mile and offer them as DVDs as well, you can. Just be sure to take into account how much producing DVDs will cost, and make sure you're not messing up your profit margins. Offering DVDs can work if you offer them in conjunction with the downloaded version, but I'd advise against offering DVDs by themselves, unless you have a massive name recognition and know that they're going to sell. Number 5. Audio series. Creating an audio series is extremely simple and can be done one of 2 ways. You can use an audio recording tool, such as Audacity, and simply record yourself, or if you are making a video series, you can strip out the audio using Camtasia. When doing an audio recording, you can ad-lib using some loose notes, or just read from a script. If you have an ebook, you can just read that if you want. Make sure you put your audio series into MP3 format. This is the most commonly used format for audio files, and will appeal to the largest user base. An audio series isn't something that would typically be sold on its own. at least not for a decent price. Mostly they're used as bonuses to other aspects of your product, such as an ebook or video series, to increase the perceived value of the overall offer. Number 6. Going for the hat trick. There is an easy way to present your product using all 3 methods I just discussed. Here is how to do it. Number 1. Write an ebook or hire someone else to do it. Number 2. Create a mind map based on that ebook. Number 3. Record voiceover videos of you reading your book while going through the mind map using Camtasia. 3A. Record videos of you doing whatever your product is about in real time, if you can do a voiceover. 4. Strip the audio from the videos and put it into MP3 format. See how easy it is? In 4 simple steps, you can have all 3 versions of your product with minimal effort.